Hi everyone, I'm April and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. It is Sunday morning. I honestly can't remember the date right now. But I am coming to you from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which I have mentioned is just northwest of Albuquerque. I am very lost for words right now. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say if you want to find me on any of my social media for Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry, you can find me as the Tangled Cat. The first thing that I want to talk about is the things that I have not finished. I have had a strange week. So as I think I've mentioned, I was working on some yellow and brown socks that I'm striping up for a bee pattern that I'm trying to come up with. I don't know that I'm gonna write it up for public use or just for my own pair of socks, but I've been working on those and I did not work at all on them this week. Not a stitch. I kind of got caught up with work and it was kind of busy and I just really didn't get to them. And then things happened. I also did not work on the 3-color cashmere cowl that I was doing, or that I am doing for the Hohi Locatelli fall knit along. Didn't pull that one out either. I am apparently the most clumsy human being on the planet. I went into work the other day and I believe I've mentioned before, I am a 911 operator, police dispatcher. And I have to be to work very early. Usually, I have to leave my house by about 5:40, 5:45 to be to work by 6. Thank goodness that my work is relatively close. But I was feeling good that one morning, and I was walking through the parking lot, and I love fall. Fall is my favorite season, and I just recalled that morning being really crisp and cool, and it was still dark out, and I just remember being really, really happy. I was in a good mood and walking through the parking lot, and I've got my purse, which is rather large. So I've got my purse, I've got a lunch sack, so I'm there for 10 hours, so I've got all my food. I've got a bag of yarn in case I actually happen to have a chance to knit on some downtime. And also I have a bag that has my headset and my phone set and everything for work. I carry all 4 bags every single day. I don't know what happened. I'm walking through and I remember pulling my shawl kind of close, and I was happy about that because it was shawl wearing weather, it was nice and chilly. And then I don't know what happened. I didn't trip over anything. I didn't step wrong. I didn't twist my ankle. I just know that suddenly I was walking and I went flying forward and I couldn't catch myself. So I ended up sliding. I do remember, when you fall and it feels like it's going in slow motion, and really it probably wasn't. But in my mind, I started thinking, please don't land on your knee. Please don't slam your knee, because I've done that several times on both knees. And now I have I can barely even bang them now. And I just get this horrific pain. So that's what I kept thinking. Don't slam on your knees. Don't fall on your knees. And I didn't, thank goodness. But I slid somehow. And I messed up my hands. This is about 3 or 4 days worth of healing already. This one is still pretty deep and pretty tender, but it looked way worse. And I couldn't knit. I could barely type at work. And when you scrape yourself like that and you have the little itty bitty tiny pieces of skin just kind of sticking up everywhere. I'm sorry, this is really gross. But that's, I had that all across the bottom part of my palm. And we have the wrist rests right in front of the keyboard, and those are kind of like a cloth material, and so it was really awkward trying to type because it kept snagging on my wounds. And I'm sorry, this is random thought, but it just made me right now think of that movie Pan's Labyrinth. That's very odd. Sorry. Anyway, so I had to wear these big giant bandages that we had at work. Thank goodness they were there. I wasn't really bleeding a whole lot, but it was pretty open and the skin was just broken and prickly, just all over the place. So I had to put these bandages on so that I wouldn't keep snagging and hurting it more on the wrist rest or whatever it's called. So typing was difficult and there was no way. I can barely do it now when, you're knitting and your hands are close, and all across here, on both hands, I couldn't knit because that small closed movement of my hand was just painful. So I didn't knit for several days. I don't know. I have just been so darn clumsy all week. I don't know what that's about. I know this is stupid to mention, but I was really feeling the feels the other day, and I was making dinner and I pulled out the box of aluminum foil twice in 1 week. Twice this week this happened. And you open it and you go to pull it out and the whole roll just comes right out the box and it goes flying across the kitchen floor. Then you got to go and you got to try to roll it back up, and now it's really fat and crumbly and wrinkled on the roll and it just looks stupid. Twice that happened to me this week. What is going on with me? I don't know. I think that maybe at some point in a past life that maybe I got caught pulling off baby angel wings or something, because I don't know, this week something was going on and maybe it was karma from a past life or something. I don't know. But so it's today was the first day that I started to really feel like I could work on some projects. But since I wasn't able to really knit, I did get some things done, but not what I really wanted to work on. I am sure that last winter, I think is when it came out, Amba O'Brien had come out with the Adventurous wrap, and it uses several minis to create two opposite triangles, which will in turn end up being a rectangle, like a biased rectangle, I think is how it turns out. So all year I have been stashing minis. So I've been planning all year that I've wanted to make it, because last year when it came out, I was already kind of swamped deep in a bunch of other things, and when it came out I didn't really have a chance to make it in December. So this year I've got it all planned. I've got the yarn. I've got everything that I want to do to make the Adventurous wrap. So I put together a whole bunch of minis. A lot of these are from Hugh Loco. I think I've got a couple of Pandia's Jewels in here. That could be a lie. I'm not 100% positive about that, but I'm going to show you some of them. And then most of these I got from an Etsy shop from it's called Yarn to You, and she's in the Czech Republic, and I got a whole bunch of minis from her because I was literally shopping specifically for minis to put in this wrap. So I'm going to go through what I did while I was recuperating as I got out my Swift and my yarn winder, and these were all 20-gram minis, so about 92 yards of yarn. So I wound them into tiny little cakes so that they would be all ready to go come December when I wanted to start making this. So let's see. I even went through, and this is actually a Hugh Loco one. I made the little cakes, and I put the name of the yarn color, and I have them numbered. This is a number 3. I'm not kidding, I spent about 3 hours after I had all these cakes wound up. I spent about 3 hours trying to get a good progression of colors. I just kept rearranging them and trying to figure out how I wanted the colors to lay out in the wrap. 3 hours, and it was the best 3 hours ever. It was pretty intense. I just kept rearranging things, shuffling everything around, and just having a blast. So when I finally got the colors into the order that I wanted, I went ahead and wound the tiny little cakes and I numbered them. So I'm just gonna go kind of quick and show you what colors I have, and they're not in any real order because I kind of just threw them in the beluga bag that I've showed before that I love so much. And they all fit in there really cute. I love it. That's kind of like a bunch of little Easter eggs just inside my beluga bag. So anyway, so this one was Hue Loco, and I believe that all of the Hue Loco ones that I have are her Phyllis sock base. So this one was Sneaky Wombat. Super pretty. I'm going to have to take these all out one by one and lay them to the side. This was one of the ones, some of the yarns that I got from the Yarn to You Etsy shop were kits. Like they were like 4 or 5 minis in a kit. So some of these aren't, I just kind of put names to them because they weren't individually labeled. Each mini wasn't individually labeled. I think they were labeled as a set with a certain name, but I don't have those here. So I kind of just made up names for some of these colors. So this one I called Fuchsia, and it's just, as you can imagine, very bright, hot pink. Let's see. This one was, some of them that I got also from the Yarn to You were also individual minis. So this particular one was an individual mini. And this one was called Milk and Honey. Oh, so pretty. This one is kind of similar, but you can see there is a difference. This one she called White Forest. You know, and I actually got these ones from the Czech Republic rather quickly. I was surprised. Let's see, this was another one. Oh, hey, my little tag is coming off. Hold on, let me fix this. Technical difficulties, I apologize. Okay. This one, I didn't know what to call this one, so I kind of called it spicy. Like, it made me think of like, maybe I should have named it like Carnival or something. It's just very vibrant, full of lots and lots of colors. Beautiful. This one was, this is another Hue Loco. This one was Outer Space Love. I know you're probably going to get bored. I'm going to just sit here and list all of these. I'm sorry, but I have no knitting to show you. I do have a little bit of crochet later. This was another Hue Loco. This was Firefly. God, it's so beautiful. This was a Pandia's Jewels, and I've used this before. I used this in my Impressionist shawl. This is Dark Roast, which is basically a brown, but it has like a purple undertone. Did I say Hue Loco? This is Pandia's Jewels on her snug base. Oh, sorry. Let's see what's next. This one is also a Pandia's Jewels. This one is Evergreen, and I have shown this one before as well when I did the shawl, the Luthean shawl, and it was the one where I had the purple and the red in kind of like a honeycomb pattern with this green, and then on the bottom I did like a cream and white colored lace. So I used this one, Evergreen. This is another one from Yarn to You. I called it Embers. Like I said, some of these aren't labeled, named, so I named them myself because why not? So there's some reds and yellows and oranges in this gray. So I thought Embers would be a cool name for that one. This one is another one from Yarn to You. Again, no real name, but for some reason this made me think of when you go to some place that has their own herbal teas, that just like the tea leaves, just loose, and you just kind of buy it like that. It just looks like herbal tea. The herbal tea leaves, I should say. Super, super pretty. This is another one from Yarn to You, and it's a pretty honey color. And I know these are all in a weird random order that I'm showing them to you, just because I'm pulling them out of the bag. This was an October House Fibers. This was from their Gelato mini skein set. I'm sorry, no it's not. It was the French Meadow. And this one is called Meadows. It's a really pretty mossy green. It's kind of a very subtle semi-solid. And this was another Hue Loco. This is Gnome Gardens. This one is just so cute. Like when I think of gnomes, I think of blue and red and white. I don't know, I just imagine like the little blue sweater that the gnomes wear, and then the white and red cap. So this one, it's a little bit, it's not quite what I imagine when I think gnomes, but I think it's just so fun. Like maybe it's just the garden that the gnomes hang out in. I don't know. This was another set from Yarn to You, and I'll just show you all three. And they didn't really have any names, so I just kind of like dark, light, and medium teal. Super pretty. So I spent hours and hours and hours winding all of these little yarn cakes, but they're so cute and they fit in my little bag, and I am super duper happy about that. This was another set from Yarn to You. Kind of different types of rainbows. Like this is got like a, looks like it has a base that's more cream. This is a base that's more gray. And this one is not quite the full rainbow. It's more of just the oranges, more of the warm colors in the rainbow. So that was another set from the Yarn to You. Almost there. I'm almost done. That's 25 colors. This was another set from, or one from the October House Fibers French Meadow mini skein set. And they called this one Lamplight. Just really, really pretty, creamy, very pale yellow. It does make me think of like more like candlelight, I would say. Not necessarily lamplight. Kind of what matches my wall. Blends in. This one is Hue Loco, called With Age. Absolutely adore this one with all of the golds and bronze, and then you've got all those greens and grays. Oh, it's fabulous. I love it. This one is one from Yarn to You that didn't have a name. Kind of looks like a jungle, so I'm going to call it Jungle. I don't know why I'm giving some of these names. Like, there's no real point to it, but I did. This one was another one from Yarn to You, and it's hard to tell here, but it looks like a tan cream tonal, but it's really a speckle. In the cake, you can't really tell the speckles, but when it was in the little mini skein, you could really see all the speckles. There's maybe some down here you can maybe see. So that's going to be cool. And then the last one I have was another one from Yarn to You. And this is gray with some greeny, like a yellowy green and some rust colors. Very, very pretty. So those are all my 25 mini skeins. They're all about 90 to 92 yards each. They're all 20 grams, which is what the option A calls for in the adventurous wrap. There's the B option, which I think is something like, I'm not 100% positive, but I think it's like 15 colors and then one full skein of a coordinating or contrasting color. you know, to kind of tie everything together, I guess. But I wanted to do this as an Advent kind of thing. It's obviously not a surprise Advent, but I wanted to start just before December. So there's 25, but I wanted it done before Christmas. Plus I got to give myself time to block it. So I'm thinking I want to start just after Thanksgiving, and just try to do a mini skein a day, and hopefully have it done so that I can have it for Christmas Day. That's going to be my present to myself. So I got that all ready. Since I couldn't really knit, I wound a whole bunch of mini cakes. And then the next day I was still kind of in pain. And really it's this one. This spot here is the deepest. It's still very, very tender. So I just really haven't been wanting to knit. So the next day I got into another winding yarn kick. And I went through all my yarns that are single ply. I have a bunch. Most of them are Pandia's Jewels. I think I have one Nora George yarn. I have 3 Hue Loco, and then I have a few Madeline Tosh Light. So I don't remember the name of the pattern. It's something like So Many Minis or something like that. I'll put the name here with a picture of the intended shawl. And what I was thinking was I'm going to go through all the different singles yarns that I have and wind up some 15-gram minis to make that shawl, along with a coordinating yarn to go in between each stripe. And the reason why I wanted to do this was for my best friend. She doesn't watch this show, so I really hope that she's not watching today. I hope that today isn't the day that she decided she wanted to watch. Because this is for her. This is going to be a Christmas gift for her, which I'm going to give to her early, so that maybe if she chooses to make this particular pattern, maybe she could do it kind of like an Advent kind of thing as well. So I wound up some of the minis, some of the yarns that I had into 15-gram little mini cakes. And like I said, these are all single ply yarn or single yarn. These 4 down here you probably recognize, because these are the ones that I did in what was the name of that shawl? Stephen West. Had a little brioche that I panicked about. It'll come to me. It's just not coming right this minute. Anyway, so that's what these 4 were in. There is some of that. This one here, this darker green, is some of that evergreen that I just showed you. So I have a bunch of them. And I have a single, some of these are Hue Loco, some of these are Pandias, and some of these are Madeline Tosh, like I said. And then this big one here is a Pandia's Jewels. This is the colorway Pewter. Now the ones from Pandia's, if they don't have sparkle in them, they're her Singularity base. If they do have sparkle, then they're her Super Sparkle yarn. So super excited. So I wanted to give this to my best friend as a Christmas gift. Had plenty to do a second one so that we could hopefully, this is my hope, is that me and my best friend have the same shawl. So we'll see. And you know, I'm going to tell her to not feel obligated to make it. I don't even know that I'm going to mention that I have the same thing right off the bat. I don't know. But that's kind of what my thought is. Maybe, you know, maybe she'll go for it. I didn't have 2 of the the pewter here. This other one that I happen to have was a pearl gray, and both of those are on the sparkle base, and it's really hard to see in the bag, but I don't want to take all of these out because they fit so perfect in this plastic bag. So it would be really cute, I think, if we had matching shawls someday. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of, I'm really excited to give it to her, but at the same time, I'm kind of nervous because what if she hates the color choices, or I don't know. She's probably going to love it just because she loves me and I love her, and we'll see. But that's what my hope is, and part of me is feeling a little bit scared that this is something that I want to give to her, and maybe it's just not. I don't know. Feeling really awkward about it. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the 4 or 5 that I pointed out. These bottom 4, I don't have. This was the last of it. So those are basically, once they're knit up into whatever they're going to be knit up from these little cakes, they're gone. But the other yarns, I do have a lot actually left. So I'm going to show you those real quick. These were the 3 Madeline Tosh yarns that I threw in there. This bottom one is called the Radness. These were Tosh Merino Light. This is the Radness. And this was Birch Gray. And this one is Modern Fair Isle. My light. The sun just hid behind some clouds, so my light is all weird. So Modern Fair Isle. So those are those ones. Let's see. I have, these are the, do I have more than that? These 2. Sorry, I'm totally about sound effects right now. These are the Super Sparkle from Pandia's Jewels. This one, this was, I think, a, sometimes she does like fandom yarns, and this one was a Star Wars one that she's called You Came in That Thing. I don't know if you could see, if you look real close, you could see some of the sparkle. It's just a really pale sand color, which makes sense because I think this was the one from the newest one where we meet, geez Louise, I am a bad Star Wars fan right now. Rey, where we first meet Rey, and she's back on, is she on Tatooine? I'm gonna have to see that one again. I haven't seen it in a while. Anyway, it's all sandy desert, and this is where she meets, or we meet her, I should say. It's a semi-solid tonal yarn. Very pretty, very neutrally. And then this one is, sorry, I rambled on and on about that one. This is another Super Sparkle called Fossil. Absolutely stunning. I love that it's mostly pinks and orangey rusts with this cream color base, but there's like little blips of blue. Just very few, like it's not going to hardly show, but I just think it's so pretty. So this is Fossil. Those were the 2 sparkle, and then the main one, that's going to be the color in between each stripe, is also the Super Sparkle, the grays. So more Pandia's Jewels. I'm trying to remember their names. This one is the Greatest Teacher. This was named, I don't know if you know, but if you can tell by the colors, another Star Wars fandom yarn. It's Yoda. If you guessed it, yay! Everybody loves Yoda. It actually, to me, kind of looks a little bit like a mint chocolate chip kind of yarn. But I guess it could be Yoda and his brown smock tunic thingy. Very cute. This one is a little bit lighter than that, and this one is called Wildwood. It's paler, maybe a slightly brighter green, and then it's got a lot of these browns and golds. super pretty. I love green. It's my favorite color. And I'm spacing on the name of this last one right now. Oh, geez. But it's beautiful. Very, very pretty gray with the blues. And I'm going to have to put the name here because I don't remember. Actually, I could look on the tag. What am I talking about, lady? It's right here somewhere. Watch, I'm not going to find it. I fixed this. I fixed this, and I believe that this is also a Star Wars reference. I love her fandom yarns because it just makes me, the names make me want to buy them, and I love it. I got these 3 from Hugh Loco. She had sold all 3 of these together in like where she was having some sales quite a while back. I got these, but these are all on her Boca sock. I don't know if she still uses this base or not. I don't think that I've seen it, but it is a singles. This was Banana Who. Not my favorite of the 3 colors. But like I said, I don't mind yellow as an accent color, so a stripe of this isn't going to kill me. But I do have quite a bit of that one. That was a very generous cake. All 3 of these were actually quite generous. They were well above the 100 gram size. This one was Lucky Charm. She sold these as misfits. I don't know if you've ever seen her sale pages, but sometimes she's got what she calls misfits, and I think that she was going for the color that she named them, but it didn't quite match with the way that they should normally come out, so she put them in a misfit kind of sale bag. And this one is Woodsy, and it's just a really soft heathery taupey brown with some blips of mauve, a little bit of green in there. Super pretty. And then the last one I have is a Nora George yarn that I got. This was the very first Nora George yarn that I got, and she called it green, just simply green. And I don't remember the name of the base, but it is a singles. And the way that it wound up, you see a lot more of the yellowy green, but there's a lot of black in there. I don't know if you can see any of that black, like up here. It's like speckled with black, but it's got these yellowy green and then the different shades of teal. It's very, very pretty, very, very different. I love it. So this was my very first Nora George yarn. So those are all of the singles that I have left. These are it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these, but I'm super excited to have my little best friend kit for Christmas. I hope that she loves it. Oh, crossing fingers. I think she will. She's just the greatest. I love her so much. And actually, before I even put those away, I want to use them in my blanket. So that's probably what I'm going to spend the rest of this afternoon doing, is adding those few yarns to this, and then I can put them away and decide another time what I want to do with the rest of that. Because I think right now I've got projects, my dream knitting or my wish knitting or whatever, through the end of the year at least. I've already got plans for what I want to do come January 1st, but we'll talk about that as the time gets closer, hopefully. So what I also did just this morning, yesterday at work, one of my friends mentioned that she wanted to make newborn beanies for the local, for one of the local hospitals for the maternity ward to give to some of the babies. So she wanted to make little pumpkin hats, and she kind of recruited some of us who work with her to make a bunch. And so that's what I did this morning. My hands were feeling a little better, and I can grip the crochet hook and not feel too much pain. So that's what I did. I made, oh, bright light. I made 2 little pumpkin beanies. Super, super cute. These are just crochet. It's worsted weight. I believe that the orange is Loops and Threads Impeccable. I don't remember which orange. It's very bright, and I think it's called Crush, because when I originally bought this, I was making a stuffy for a friend who really loved the Denver Broncos football team, so I bought the bright orange. And then this green is some inherited yarn. I have no idea what it is, but it works. Goes really well. Super easy to make. It went by super quick, so I may make a couple more because I do have some of that yarn left. But I may end up giving the rest of the orange to my friend. And because I know that there are some people that are kind of on a budget right now to not be buying a whole lot of yarn, and they do want to help and participate in making some of these hats. So maybe I could just donate the yarn to someone who doesn't have a big yarn purchasing budget right now. So there's that. I did also purchase some yarn. Shocker, right? I went to Pandia's Jewels, and I was just browsing. Mostly because it was last week, and I was talking about my spinning, using my drop spindle, and I was super excited about how I was able to starting to feel a little more comfortable with that park method. So I was really happy, and I'm like, I want to get some more fiber. And I remembered that Pandia had a couple of bumps, I guess people call them. I don't know. That she dyed herself. So that's what I specifically went for. This one is, let's see, it's called Merino Wool Top Fiber. The colorway she called Depth, and it's 100% merino wool, 4 ounces. It's a 4-ounce braid. So there's that. And this is the color. I haven't even taken it out of this bag yet, but I'm super excited. And I think I told you when I was doing the yarn that, or the spinning that geez Louise, April speak. The fiber that I had, I kind of stripped it down into 16 very long, skinny strips, and I've been spinning it just, when one ends, I start another one. But I think with this, I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to unwind it or unbraid it and see, like how bright it is. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. It's so fluffy too. Like, I know it's condensed because it's in this braid form, but just looking at it looks like cotton candy. Oh my god. But I'm thinking I want to do, like, where's the end of this braid? I really don't want to take it out because it's just so perfect, but I'm thinking I just want to spin. There it is. I don't know if I want to like break it up into like get all of the teals together and all of the purples and all of the greens and just have like little fluffs of all of the same color together and then just spin that up, and then when I apply it, just see whatever happens. I don't know. I'm super excited. I think that that's something I want to try just to say that I tried it. Again, this isn't going to be like my main focus of anything, but I've been wanting this for a little bit. So I finally went ahead and got it. And then while I was there, I was browsing. And I have several tweed yarns from Pandia's Jewels. Her fingering tweed. And there was another one that she came out with. This is a one of a kind. And I had to grab it because it goes so well with the honey yellow that I have of hers. This is called Moss, which is very brown, almost like a mahogany brown, but there's a lot of, it's a little hard to see. Like this in here is more of like a greenish color. And I'm wondering if maybe that's why it's a, she put it in her one of a kind, like maybe she was going for a more, oh look, if you open that up, there's a lot more green up in there. I'm so excited. My goodness, I thought it was mostly this brown, but I'm so, now I want to open it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to open it because I wonder how much green is in there. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Miss Julia. I'm undoing your beautiful twisting here, but I needed to see what's in this yarn. I love green and, oh, yeah, there's just a few blips of that green, but, oh, right there. Oh, where'd it go? Right there. Oh my God, in heaven. Look at that. It's so pretty. Ah, so I have, I should have grabbed it. I should grab that real quick so I could show you. Where is it though? Seriously, I just like put all of my yarn in this, it's a shoe rack. It's a really, it's something like 24 slots for shoes. And I have all my yarn in there. Where is the tweed? I can't see where I put the tweed. Oh, never mind. I just found it. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the honey one that I was thinking was going to look really, really nice with this. Oh, focus. And then I was already planning on mixing this yellow with this blue. This is called Honey Mead. And then this blue one was Rogue. So I don't know. Now I don't know what to do. I'm kind of torn. I want all three together, mostly because I do have 3 other tweeds of hers, but I don't want to put those together with these ones simply because the little nubby thingies on all of these are kind of like a white, black, gray. They're all, you know, like that. And for some reason on the other 3 colors that I have, the little nubbies are more like rainbowy. So I wanted to keep those 3 together and then these ones together just because, you know, I don't want to mix nubbies. I know that's silly. Sorry. But that's what I got. And she also sent, I lost it now. She also sent another sample yarn. This is her Snazzy Snazzy Sport Base in the Howlite colorway, which is gorgeous. It's the natural color with some bluish shadows, April shadows. And then there's this, like bluish grays, and then this bronzy color. Very, very pretty. So that's a cute little sample. It's a sport weight though, so it probably won't go into my memory blanket. But I do have a couple, bunch of leftovers of sport weight yarn as well. So I think I mentioned when I was organizing after I moved and everything that I wanted to put all my sport leftovers in one place and all my fingering in another place and my DK and my worsted or whatever. So who knows, I may end up making a whole bunch of scrappy things in some point in the future because I just can't get rid of a whole lot of yarn. So there's that sample. And then she also included another, it's upside down, one of her sheepy pins that I love so much. I think this is the 3rd one of this sheep that I've got, but I don't care. It's kind of like trading cards. I don't care that I have a bunch of the same one. I love it. I have like a little mesh bag hanging over there that has all my pins in it. I love it. So that's really all I know. Oh, well, I lied. So this morning when I was making the hats and I had all my acrylic out, I did decide that I was going to crochet a little bit. So I started I don't know if it's going to be like a small lap blanket. I don't know how big this is going to end up being, but what I did was I got one of my fatter crochet hooks, and I think this might be an N or a P. I can't remember because the little thing has worn off. The little size that was embossed on the end has kind of worn off, and I don't have a needle sizer this big, but it's either an N or a P. Got that, and then I decided to hold 4 strands of yarn together and just make a blanket, a square. So the 4 that I'm holding together right now, and as soon as one color ends, I'll just add another one. But the 4 colors that I have on here right now are white, which is probably a red heart, and I think this was a Knit Picks Brava in like a rosy color. This, I think, is an Impeccable. It's like a maroon. And this is a Simply Soft Karen. Don't know the colorway. It's a little bit thinner than the other 3, but it's kind of, it looks weird like this. But it's all 4 held together. Looks like this. And it's kind of ripply right now just because I think I should have maybe used a crochet hook just a bit bigger, but that's okay. But look at how all 4 of them held together look. It's just super, super pretty. This center in here is a little bit brighter just because before I started this rose color, I was using up a really, really small ball of this bright, bright pink that I had. So that's why the center is just a little bit brighter than the outer edge. And as I finish a ball of yarn, I'm going to add another color. You saw that this little flower had some neon green. I've got a little bit of that I'm probably going to throw in at some point. I've got this royal blue. When I run out of the white, I have a cream color. I don't want to pull it all out because it's like all shoved in here. And you know, when you move things around, then they're like crazy tangled, and then you're pissed off, and then you got to untangle it, and you don't want to work on it anymore. But I don't know how big this is going to end up being. I have quite a bit of the rose and quite a bit of the maroon. So I'm just going to keep going until I run out of those 2 colors. We'll see. Or keep going until I can always have 4 strands. And once I run out and I'm not able to carry 4 strands, then I guess I'll be done. But we'll see how it turns out. But right now it's kind of heavy, it's thick, it's cozy, and I think it'll be a nice, maybe a lap blanket. If anything, I can use it to put on top of my ottoman where my cat likes to sit and shed. So that's what I worked on. I actually got on a little bit of a crocheting kick this morning just because I had worked on those hats, and I haven't crocheted in a bit, so it was nice. So we'll see. My hands are starting to feel much better. I'm feeling less embarrassed. Seriously, like I said, it was dark, and I had just crossed, you know, the where, you know, because there's 2 ways to park. You can turn in this way to park there, or park over here. So I was walking across, and when I fell, I slid in between where 2 cars are parked in the front area. So I was I was laying on the ground in an empty parking space. And I remember laying there thinking, okay, I didn't slam my knee. That's awesome. But am I hurt? Like, because I just laid there trying to assess any pain anywhere, and the only pain I could really feel was in my hands. But I rolled over and I just started laughing because I'm like, oh my God, what an idiot. Oh my God, I don't even know why I fell. That's mostly what I was looking for, to see if like my ankle was twisted, because I have no idea why I fell. I didn't twist my ankle, so I don't know what it was that made me just but I remember rolling over and I was about to get up and looking up at the stars, and I literally thought, wow, I haven't looked up at the stars in a very, very long time, and they're so beautiful at this time of morning. And then I thought, oh, I better get up off this asphalt because somebody's going to try to turn into this parking space and run over my big butt. So, so I had to get up and I had to grab all my bags, and I had lip gloss and pens and everything go flying all over the place. So I had to pick all of that up. And thankfully, nobody actually saw me fall, but one of my coworkers did see me picking myself up off the ground and dusting myself off and grabbing my stuff. So it was pretty interesting. So I'm starting to feel a little less embarrassed about that, but you know, it's probably going to happen again sometime because I literally tripped over air, and that is not an uncommon thing for me. So, but that's why I didn't get a whole lot of knitting done on the projects that I had already been talking about. So hopefully this week I'm going to get cracking and try to get a little bit more done on that now that I'm not hurting as much. But I hope that the rest of your week is productive and that you have wonderful time with family and friends as much as you can. And I will see you all next week. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. Shoot. Oh yeah. I'm April, and you're watching No. Hi everyone. I'm April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. How many times am I going to start this? Gross. I lost my train of thought altogether. What the heck? I'm going to start this over because that's weird.